Hello, welcome to Roscoe Squeeze Off, the podcast. Your boy Roscoe Squeeze Off, and I am Roscoe Squeeze Off of Show in the Go. When I do sports, I do my own personal thing here. I am the world's foremost authority on all things that matter. Usually just a dude riding around his vehicle talking about sports. Now, today I'm talking to you about Cam Newton going to New England Patriots. I almost feel like Muhammad Ali when he was yelling, "I shook up the world." I think this is huge. Now, I know they're getting him for next to nothing. He's getting him like a league minimum with a bunch of incentives. I mean, I think he can make a maximum of just under $8 million for the year, no matter what he does. And for a guy who is a former MVP, that is tremendous. Now, what do I think about how he will do? I do wonder, and the reason I wonder is because you wonder about his health. So let me start with his stats. As I look at his stats, last year he only started 2 games, which is his career low. The year before that he did 14, 16 the year before that, which is great, the whole season. He played in 15 games, so he actually hasn't been too unhealthy. He's played at least 14 games in every season until last season. Now, his completion percentage, which is where it's going to be a little different from what he did with what New England did with Tom Brady, but I think he will drive his completion percentage up. His completion percentage average for his career is 59.6. His highest ever was 67.9, which was in 2018. His MVP year, which I believe was 2015, he was only 59.8% with 3,800 yards. His most yards ever was actually his first season passing, 4,051 yards. Best touchdowns was 2 years ago. He actually had 24 touchdowns. So, he has his moments. He won't give you Drew Brees numbers or even Tom Brady numbers for that. But this is where he can go a little bit better with you. Rushing. Now, 2 years ago, 2018, he had 101 carries for 488 yards. I think if he just does that alone, not going back to his past where he's been better, just that alone, if he could still get somewhere near 500 yards, that is going to be tremendous for this offense. They have a great defense. They're going to run the ball a whole lot. And when I say great, and I take it with a grain of salt, I know they called them historically great and things of that nature. I understand it's not historically great. They played a bunch of bad teams. When they played the Ravens whooped their tail and put it on that defense. Kansas City moved the ball pretty easily. Tennessee ran the ball down their throat. Now, granted, scoring, Tennessee didn't have so many points. The Ravens dropped like 40 on them, something to that effect. So I understand it's not a historic defense, but it's still one of the better defenses in the league. And if you play the right offensive system, which I believe Bill Belichick will have, and you got to remember that your boy, the offensive coordinator, what he did that was key was he had Tim Tebow. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he had Tim Tebow in Denver the year when they upset the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime on the first play. I think it was first play overtime. Tim Tebow hit the bomb pass and they won the game. So if he could win with Tim Tebow in the ugliest offense maybe in the history of football that made the playoffs, what will he be able to do with the Bill Belichick's? What will McDaniel be able to do with this defense? Using that style of offense, something similar to Tebow. I won't say the same as what Denver did, but almost something similar. Because what's going to happen is when you fake that run with the quarterback and you use the play action right and you establish the run, it's going to allow Cam a little bit more time back there to make accurate throws. It's also going to allow hesitation on the defensive guy's part to hopefully get some separation for your receivers. I think that is going to be huge for Cam. Now, let's go back. Let's just say he was 100% healthy. I mean, just 3 years ago, he had 754 yards, which was the most in his actual career rushing. He has had 58 rushing touchdowns in his career. 58. So that's not just, a lot of those are short distance, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, near the goal line. But also remember, he does the same thing for short distance first downs, which is going to keep drives going. When you run the ball 2 times and you get 8 yards out of it, and it's 3rd and 2, the options are limitless, to what you're going to be able to do with Cam Newton there. Now, you don't want to get him hurt, but if you run some good things that go to the sideline and he can get out of bounds, or just tell him to go down once you get the first down, and only take shots when when absolutely necessary, I think that could be huge for them. I think their defense will keep them in games. The style of play that Belichick will call will keep them in games. And I think Belichick has the ultimate incentive. He wants to show the world that he can go and win without Tom Brady. So he's going to put together, I just think they can do great things, honestly. The more I think about it, it can be great. Now, the problem is you have some juggernauts in the conference. I think he can win his division against Buffalo, which Buffalo played well last year. Miami should be a little better this year, but that's a little better for Miami is 6 games. The Jets, 5-6 games as well. Not really a believer in them either. So I think they can still win their division again. They can edge out Buffalo and make the playoffs with Cam Newton at quarterback. Now, the problem is going from there. Baltimore, barring injury, coronavirus, what have you, if a season's even played, if the season can make it past coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be a juggernaut. I just don't know who's going to beat Baltimore, except for Kansas City, honestly. And maybe, you can say Tennessee last year. I think if Tennessee and Baltimore played 10 more times, I think Baltimore would win 8 to 9 of those. But at the same time, I think they're really on to something right now. I think they have a good team. I think they got the right guys. I think Cam Newton realizes the max he can make is just under $8 million. So he's going to, this guy's going to ball out. They're going to put him in a great system. He is going to ball out. And by balling out, he is going to be able to get that big contract. Because Belichick has made a ton of guys a lot of money. Just think about that. Look at the money these guys have gotten around the league. Because of Belichick and the system that he's been able to run over the years. He got Matt Castle money. He got the went to Super Bowl last year. Garoppolo money. He got the quarterback from Indianapolis. He's made money as a starting league. He makes guys decent money, man. And think about it. And that's while having a 20-year starter for your team. He's made that money. So this guy gets to come out there and start 16 games. That's he might put $30 million in his pocket next year with a different team. And I think the system's going to, I'm telling you, I think the system's going to work for him. I really believe the system's going to work for them. I believe they're going to be able to. I believe they're going to be able to space the teams out because of the running game. They're going to run the ball a whole lot, which is going to be huge for them. It's going to be completely huge for him. And as they run the ball, he'll have moments to just play action pass, hit wide open guys. He'll have times where he can play action pass and do rollouts. Pick up 4 or 5 yards, go out of bounds. He'll have times where they'll line up in a shotgun. He'll be wide open. He'll pick up 5 yards and just go down. Don't take a hit. Pick up the yards. They're going to scheme beautifully. I truly believe they're going to scheme. They're going to scheme very very beautifully. And I think that's going to be the key to what they're doing. Now, as far as Tom, the loss of Tom Brady and his leadership, I don't think that's replaceable. But at the same time, he's the fiery guy on the sidelines. Let's get it going. Let's go. And I believe that's very important. He's the guy that wants to go out there and practice all off season and live, eat, and drink football. I understand that, yes. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. The creation tool allows you to record and edit a podcast right from your phone, tablet, computer, what have you. Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You make money right from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. All you have to do is download the Anchor app. Go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, that's anchor.fm to get started making your own podcast today. But Cam Newton took a team to a Super Bowl that was not a great team. Good team, very, very good team that year. And he's won a lot of games, came back in games. He's done a lot of things too. Not as good as Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the GOAT. But this is completely different. Completely different. I believe it's going to be, I think it's going to be huge. I truly think it's going to be huge. I think they're going to, I just think that Kansas City and Baltimore keep him from getting to the Super Bowl. But if he gets to an AFC conference championship or even the divisional round, I think that just shows well. You know, that'll show well for him, and especially if he plays very well. And like I said, AFC, if he makes the AFC conference, now, in a perfect world for Cam Newton, for the New England Patriots, for Bill Belichick, maybe COVID or injury keeps somebody out. Maybe it's just downright upset a Baltimore or a Kansas City, and they make it to the Super Bowl. If they make it and win a Super Bowl, I mean, Belichick's already going down as probably the greatest coach of all time. But if he wins without Tom Brady, because all the other great coaches who've won 4 Super Bowls, which is just Bill Walsh and Chuck Noll and him and Bill Belichick. Everybody's won it with one quarterback. He'd be the only one to win these championships, this amount of championships, and then have a second quarterback win you a championship. That would say a ton for him, because all these other guys are tied at the hip. Terry Bradshaw, Chuck Noll. You know, Joe Montana, Bill Walsh. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. To untie that hip and show that you can win it anyway would be tremendous. And I believe this is more than just, all right, if Cam plays amazing this year, absolutely lights out, MVP candidate, then they may re-sign him. But I really don't think they want to sign him. I think they pick him up. That's why they picked him up late. They can get him for cheap. You know, because nobody was picking him up. They got him for the cheap. So, just imagine this. He plays fairly decent. Then now, you're in a position to pick up a young quarterback that runs and plays a similar style to a Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, all these mobile quarterbacks that are coming out now. You see what I'm saying? Russell Wilson. It gives you a chance to implement that, because you haven't had that. You've pretty much had statue quarterbacks back there. So now you get to try it out a little bit with a guy it's a former MVP, so he's great. He's done it at the highest level. He's not what he used to be, you know, because of, you know, injuries, age, a matriculation of hits that he's taken. He's the most hit quarterback in the last 9 years by a wide margin. I think it was like almost 400 more hits than any other quarterback. But you can try this. You can see what you can do. You can see what kind of system you can build. And by that being the case, I think that's going to give you the ability to go ahead and build past, you know, not just build, but build a offense around what the future of what you want to do is. Because I think the future of what they want to do, remember, they said that that Bill Belichick wanted, if Baltimore didn't trade back up into the first round, the end of the first round, to get Lamar Jackson, they said that New England was going to get him. That's why Baltimore had to trade back up to get him, because he wanted to get Lamar Jackson. And I think by doing that, with Josh McDaniels' experience with Tim Tebow, I just believe that it's going to be lights out, man. They're going to build a system that's going to be better than what he did with Tim Tebow, and still a little mixture of what Tom Brady did, because Cam Newton allows you to do that. He's not as accurate. He doesn't have the timing of a Tom Brady. Tom Brady's anticipatory and ability to read the defense and know where a guy's going to be based upon how the coverage is playing, he's not going to have that, no. But he's going to be able to dictate to the defense how they're going to play coverage by his fakes and feints, by his ability to fake like he's going to run. When he takes a step forward and he drops back and throws a quick one because that froze that linebacker or that safety because they thought he was about to run, he's going to hit wide open guys. And they did that for Tebow, who was, I mean, honestly, Tebow just does not throw the ball very well. Pretty sure you guys all noticed that. You know, he just didn't have a great arm. He had an elongated throw. It was the slowest release in history. It was inaccurate, and I think Cam is way, way better than that. I mean, this is a former MVP of the league. I think they're going to build a quick system here. Nothing big, nothing elaborate, not a whole bunch of tricks. Straight running the ball down your throat repeatedly, and then play action passes, getting guys wide open in space, 5-10 yards away, not maybe, and then they'll still be able to take some downfield shots. N'Keal Harry is going to get his chance to get some downfield shots because when you matriculate the ball slowly, and guys, they got to start, playing up tight because you're running it down their throat, and he's getting first downs on you. Cam Newton's getting first downs or making first down passes for 3 and 4 yards. Then boom, he fakes one, and then he can go deep at you. So I think it's going to be pretty good. Like I said, I don't think they can win a Super Bowl this year, but I think it's going to be between Josh McDaniels and Belichick. I think they're going to take their division. I really do, and I think they're going to get. I don't think he's going to be an MVP candidate, but I believe he'll probably be a top 10 quarterback this year in his efficiency. Believe it or not, I believe his completion percentage is going to go way past anything it's ever been. He may be like a 69-70% completion percentage this year because I believe they're going to design a system, like I said, Tim Tebow-ish. I would say Lamar Jackson-ish, but the Lamar Jackson system is kind of based on his extreme speed. That's what makes everybody play them the way they play him. If he was a slow lumbering, it'll be a little bit, they'd play him like that, but a little bit different. But his extreme speed, you got to play him, and you got to play him with gap control. You got to, hey, we'll lose this 5 yards here because we just can't, you can't take the chance of him getting past you because he can go the distance 80 yards. Nobody in the field can catch him. So they're going to play him different. But I really believe that they'll do a Tim Tebow type style. He'll get first downs in short distances. He'll get touchdowns when they're, in the goal line situations. He'll either throwing or passing. And I believe their offense, Josh McDaniels, is creative enough with Bill Belichick to create situations that'll make it difficult for defenses to cover. And I think he won't be back a second year. Unless he's an MVP caliber guy and they think they can go forward with him. I think this is just a testing phase, and they'll get a young guy. They probably won't get the guy from Clemson because he'll probably be the top pick. But they'll get a young guy that can move around and throw the ball. They want, like I said, they wanted the Baltimore's quarterback before Baltimore got him, so Baltimore had to trade back up to make sure they got him first to get Jackson. And I just think that they're going to lose Tom Brady's, his accuracy, his ability to dictate, from the pocket, yes. But they're picking up something he never had. Tom Brady ran a 12-13-40. Something really ridiculous. He was like the slowest quarterback in history. Cam Newton's not the fastest guy, but he's still one of the best mobile quarterbacks in history. So I'm expecting him to do some major things here. So just let me know what you think. Always, you can email me at roscoesqueezeoff@gmail.com. Once again, that's roscoesqueezeoff@gmail.com. I put the link up there that has our show and the go information. I'm the very last one down at the bottom. If you just want to talk about sports, it takes you to all our links as well. Let me know what you guys think, man. I think it's huge. Cam Newton will win the AFC division this year. And this is coming from the world's foremost authority on all things that matter. Just a dude riding around his car talking about sports. This is the Roscoe Squeeze Off, the podcast. And this is Roscoe Squeeze Off of Show on the Go. Look forward to hearing from you, man. I hope the season happens this year. We know a lot of things going on, but I hope it happens, because if it does, Cam is going to make some big noise with the New England Patriots. Talk to you soon. Peace.